What kind of zombie movie could make so many fans of the genre turn pale? It's not because it's particularly terrifying, but because it's really addictive. The maybe director spent 99% of the budget on blood plasma to achieve the ultimate bloody effect. It is the most disgusting movie in history. Brain dead. Friendly reminder, viewers with weak stomachs should watch at their own discretion. The story begins on a remote island where an expedition team captures a strange-looking rat monkey and plans to sell it for a good price at the city zoo. However, they were stopped by local natives on the way. The chief warned them not to bring the rat monkey back to the city, or they would be cursed by evil spirits. However, the eyeglass man didn't think much of it and slapped a permit directly on their face. But in the next second, the permit was torn to shreds by them on the spot. Of course, the thing that was so hard to get wouldn't be given up easily. They had no choice but to take out weapons and scare them all away with gunshots, then resolutely fled with the cage. Before the natives caught up with them, they successfully jumped onto a jeep that had been arranged in advance and escaped. However, due to his panic, the eyeglass man was accidentally bitten on the palm by the rat monkey. His companions immediately showed a horrified expression and then slammed on the brakes, causing him to fall off the vehicle. Because the rat monkey carried a deadly virus, once bitten, the person would undergo a mutation in order to prevent the virus from spreading throughout his body. Without hesitation, the three of them pinned the eyeglass man to the ground and directly chopped off his injured right hand. At least he still had one hand he could use. But soon, they discovered that the eyeglass man's left hand was also injured. Before he could react, his left hand was also ruthlessly chopped off. But at least he still had his life. His forehead is also wounded. This is the end. Even life cannot be saved. After returning to the city, the trio tearfully sold the rat monkey to the zoo and made a fortune. A few days later, a couple came to the zoo for a date and saw the strange-looking rat monkey. The rat monkey was quite aggressive and immediately tore off the neighbor monkey's arm and devoured it. Paquita felt uncomfortable with this extremely bloody scene, so they left and found a chair to sit on. Lionel's mother was shocked to discover that her son was secretly dating Paquita. She was about to say hello when she accidentally stepped on a banana peel and fell on the fence. The rat monkey inside immediately pounced on her and bit her arm. Her screams echoed throughout the zoo, attracting countless people to come and watch. Mother was also a vengeful person with a bad temper. She hit the rat monkey with her backhand and then stomped on its head with her foot, crushing its skull. Lionel rushed over and took Mother home, thinking it was just a normal wound, so they only did a simple bandage. But they had no idea what horror was about to happen. The next morning, Lionel discovered that Mother's arm was beginning to deteriorate. He was about to call a doctor to come and check when two relatives suddenly came to visit their home. Mother quickly got up to greet them, but while putting on makeup, she accidentally tore off a piece of skin from her face. Lionel had an idea and could only use glue to stick it back on, but during the meal, Mother became unable to speak clearly. As man was eating cream cake, Mother kindly added some ingredients to it. The unaware man took a big bite and exclaimed that it tasted great. At that moment, Mother's ear fell into the bowl. To the woman's horror, Mother ate her own ear. This scene was too much for the woman, who quickly got up and fled in a panic. However, the man was still enjoying the cake and even said he wanted to try tomato-flavored cream cake next time. But at night, while Lionel and Paquita were talking downstairs, they suddenly heard the dog scream in agony. A bad feeling instantly surged up in Lionel's heart. When they went upstairs to check, they found that Mother had eaten Paquita's dog and then went crazy and attacked Paquita. Fortunately, Lionel pushed Mother away in time, but the mother and son both fell down the stairs. Seeing that Mother was unconscious, Paquita quickly called a female doctor. After the female doctor's examination, it was discovered that Mother had died. Lionel was instantly heartbroken, but he didn't expect that the next moment, Mother would suddenly come back to life and attack the female doctor, throwing Lionel to the side. Obviously, at this point, Mother had completely turned into a zombie. Not long after, the attacked female doctor also mutated. In order not to let Paquita notice anything, Lionel quickly locked the two zombies in the basement. When Paquita came down from upstairs, he lied and said that Mother had been taken to the hospital by the female doctor. After Paquita left, Lionel finally breathed a sigh of relief. However, the moaning from the basement at night made it hard for him to sleep. To calm the two zombies down, the next morning, Lionel went to the drugstore and bought a large bottle of sedatives. He then fully armed himself and went into the basement. He first gave the female doctor a shot, then injected a sedative into Mother's nostrils. The sedative was indeed effective, and the two zombies became quiet instantly. As Lionel arrived at Paquita's store to find her, He didn't realize that the zombie mother had followed him. Before she could reach her destination, she was hit and flew into the store by a speeding tram. Helplessly, Lionel had to give Mother another dose of sedative, and the commotion attracted a crowd of onlookers. The fact that Mother had died could no longer be hidden. Lionel had to hold a simple funeral for her, but these were just surface appearances. At night, Lionel planned to dig Mother out. In his eyes, she was still his mother even if she had become a man-eating monster. But halfway through digging, a group of rowdy young men suddenly jumped out of the graves and attacked him, mistaking him for a pervert. The leader even urinated on Mother's tombstone. Mother suddenly woke up and delivered a fatal blow to the man. Then she crawled out and attacked the other young men. Soon, those bitten turned into zombies. Lionel was also in danger of being attacked. In a critical moment, the priest arrived just in time. The priest was quite formidable, especially his legwork, which had reached a state of perfection. After a few rounds, he beat the zombies to the point of peeing and defecating. But unfortunately, 2 fists were no match for 4 hands, and these zombies couldn't be killed. The priest gradually fell into a disadvantage and was accidentally bitten on the neck by his own previously knocked off zombie head. In desperation, the priest had to use his ultimate move, but the zombies saw through his move and easily neutralizing his attack. The priest was impaled by a statue. Luckily, Lionel managed to sedate the last zombie. However, instead of abandoning them, he took all the zombies home and fed them food with sedatives. After all, this was all his fault. But these zombies not only protected their food, the priest zombie and the female doctor zombie even developed feelings for each other. If it weren't for Lionel's timely intervention, the 2 zombies would have started playing cards. Just then, the doorbell rang. It was Leslie, Lionel's uncle. Since Lionel's mother had passed away, Leslie had been eyeing her inheritance. He had come for this reason, but Lionel didn't have time to talk to him about it. To prevent Leslie from discovering the zombies in the house, Lionel had to find an excuse to kick him out. In the midst of this chaos, the female doctor and the priest did something unbelievable and gave birth to another zombie just a few days later, catching Lionel off guard. With no other options, Lionel took on the responsibility of raising the baby zombie and took him for a walk in the park in a stroller. But the baby zombie was different from regular babies, not only being physically resistant to hits but also very mischievous. To make the baby zombie behave a little better, Lionel had to be a little rough, which shocked the people around him. After finally bringing the baby zombie back home, Lionel discovered that the basement door had been mysteriously opened. It turned out to be Leslie, who had discovered Lionel's secret. Lionel wanted to explain, but Leslie didn't give him a chance and threatened to call the police unless Lionel gave him the house. Lionel had no choice but to agree. That night, Leslie threw a party to celebrate his upcoming move into the new house, and Lionel had to work as a waiter. Paquita, who hadn't seen Lionel in a while, happened to walk by the house and came in out of curiosity. However, as soon as she entered, Leslie, who had been drinking fake alcohol, started to harass her. Paquita gave him a fatal blow and escaped. To avoid being caught, she ran into the basement and saw the terrifying zombies. She screamed in horror, and soon Lionel arrived to explain everything to her. To stop the zombie virus from spreading, Paquita suggested that Lionel should take care of the zombies as soon as possible. In the end, Lionel agreed and decided to use poison to kill the zombies. After saying goodbye to Mother, Lionel gave her a dose of poison, then killed the rest of the zombies with poison and buried them in the basement. After thinking that they had taken care of everything, they walked out feeling relieved. Little did they know, they had accidentally used the wrong poison. Instead of killing the zombies, the poison made them even more aggressive, and they burst out of the soil mounds. The zombies pushed open the basement door and launched an attack on the people in the house. The entire scene turned into a living hell with screams echoing throughout the house. Soon, those who were attacked turned into zombies and joined the assault. Lionel and the others quickly hid in a room, but the zombies broke down the door in no time. In the chaos, they unfortunately got separated. Paquita met Rita while running away and decided to hold up in a room together. While they were fortifying the windows and doors, a zombie suddenly appeared from behind the curtains. Rita stood still in shock as the zombie approached. Fortunately, Paquita acted in time and turned the zombie into an electric light bulb. After regaining their composure, they continued to barricade the windows and doors. However, they didn't realize that the baby zombie was hiding in a box, and Rita was bitten without warning. Paquita kicked the baby zombie away and used a frying pan to hit it out the window, giving Leslie a fatal blow. Leslie immediately called for help from the people in the house upon seeing this. With a horde of zombies approaching, they had no choice but to let him in. However, the zombies broke down the door shortly after. In the moment of crisis, Leslie became an invincible warrior, wielding 2 kitchen knives and taking out most of the zombies. After finishing off the zombies, he even lit a cigarette to celebrate his victory. Even the baby zombie couldn't stand his behavior and gave him a fatal blow. Leslie chased the baby zombie all the way down to the basement, where he encountered an even more terrifying monster. It turned out to be Lionel's mother, who had evolved into a huge monster due to the medication. Leslie was torn into pieces by the monster. Meanwhile, Lionel, who had been missing, suddenly walked into the hall carrying a lawnmower. The zombies rushed towards him, but in front of the lawnmower, they were like watermelons being crushed. Lionel quickly eliminated all of the zombies, but the situation wasn't over yet. There was still one more terrifying monster to deal with. As the ground shook, Lionel's mother appeared in front of them. Facing such a terrifying monster, they had no choice but to run. However, when they reached the roof, Lionel was unfortunately caught. The monster stuffed him into its belly, preparing to recycle him. Lionel didn't just sit there and wait to be digested, though. He used the artifact the priest gave him to cut open the monster's belly and escape. Lionel killed the monster, and in the end, they were the only ones who survived. From then on, they lived a happy life.